All right, yes, we're live, and this is Thomas together with Ed, Gail, and Brian. Welcome, everybody. How are you all doing? I interpret the silence as you're doing okay. Good. Anyway, let's do some pair programming tonight, this lovely evening. And I'm working on a relatively simple story, I hope, that has to do with the user profile on our main agileadventures.org, and it's about reintroducing some tabs on the. We used to have tabs on this page that displayed the. I'm sorry, on the members page here, that displayed the different information on a tab. So we had one tab for skills, one tab for projects, involvement, about me, and stuff like that. And now we don't have that, and I reckon that it's kind of it's too much information here. So I think it's better to have it in tabs, and this is what we're introducing. And there should be a story here someplace.
Excuse me, do you mean like sub-tabs here, or breaking the page into 3 different tabs?
Yes. Let me show you. What I want is something similar to what we have on projects. If you have a look here, yes, something like that. So we have a about page. We have documents. We have videos, and we have activity.
Okay.
And we want to have a similar structure on the user's profile page.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually what I've done is I've done exactly that already. So what we have a problem with is that when I was writing a view spec for that, because I'm conditioning the display of these tabs if there is any content to actually show. And when I try to test that, I'm getting some errors, as you can see here. So the view spec is broken, and I would like perhaps Brian, that I know is good in testing and writing view specs, or any of you guys, if you feel confident that you know enough RSpec to help me with this, to do just that. And actually, we could demonstrate, Brian. If you and I we're about to do this, we could demonstrate. Hold on a second. I'm incoming Hangout call. Is that weird? Anyway, we could demonstrate GitHub Pong and different other collaborative techniques that we usually use. Brian?
Sure. Let's do that. Not sure if I can stay for long.
No, but let's
yeah.
See what we can come up with. So if you share your screen, Brian, we could start with you pulling down my code to start with, perhaps.
Okay. Is it all up?
Yes, it should be up. Let me just have a look first. Status. I don't know. Well, it's not up. Thank you. So let me just push this up. Git add git commit p view specs anywhere in user show. Yes, so I have a feature branch called user info, Brian.
Okay.
And Now you will see some strange code in that view spec probably because I just pushed up. I left it in a pretty bad state right now. So yes, if you pull this down, we could have a look at this together.
User info.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just run bundle and the migrations.
Yes.
Did you add anything new?
Yes, there are some changes that you most probably have to run both bundle and migrations. Yes.
Okay.
And we have Hakan with us. Welcome from Turkey, if I'm not remembering wrong.
Yes, you do remember correctly. Hi, how are you?
Just fine. And Gail, I think you're in Israel, right?
Who?
Gail.
Oh.
Yes, I'm from Israel.
Wow, cool. And Ed, where are you? Ed is muted.
I'm in Boston.
You're in Boston. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Boston, lovely city. Sorry to hear about that marathon thing. I hope you guys recovered from that trauma.
We did.
Good. Boston strong. Absolutely.
I just run the migrations.
Cool.
It's a little slow.
So I'm focusing the broadcast on your screen now, Brian.
All right.
Just so you know. And once you've done this, you could, once the migrations are done, you could open the show, the view spec for users show, and I can just talk you through what I've done there.
Okay.
For some reason, everything was failing for me, which is strange because yesterday I had at least 2 tests that were passing, but I guess I've done something stupid. Something's.
Right. Run all the specs.
Why did I?
So have any of you guys worked with Rails before?
Only in the course. Mostly I do front-end stuff. I'm working in Angular a lot and using Jasmine, which is similar to our spec.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I've only used it in the course. So.
That's interesting. Because right now I'm working a lot with Angular and Node.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the mean stack without Mongo. We don't need persistence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my current job. Anyway.
Cool.
Whoa.
And with me as well, I just used it in the CS 169 course, and then there was another course in Coursera. But with those, I usually followed the line, so did not do any creative stuff. But hopefully I'll do more.
Same here. I've just used it in a couple of courses.
Brian,
yeah.
You will get all the specs in view spec. In that view spec will fail because I changed factory code from create down to build, and we have to create that user. So that's why these are failing right now. But you have more. You have more than that failing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's up?
I don't know.
Let's see. Because that's way more than
that's your spec.
Huh?
I saw a big block of red. That must be yours.
Yeah, that must be mine. Yeah.
I'd like to ask another question because you're using a phrase that I've never heard, which is view spec. Is that something that's able to test your HTML?
Yes, actually, that's one of the most annoying thing about Angular, in fact, which I'm currently struggling with. Angular has a very bad I mean, it's really lacking in the testing for views. You can do end-to-end tests, but that's too.
Well, in theory, you're not supposed to be doing anything in your view. You should be able to test your scope.
Yeah, but sometimes because the views often fail silently in Angular. Sometimes we want to test that it's at least rendering the right things or the button exists, something like that. It's just that simple, but you can't often
Well,
test.
we can take this offline and maybe
well,
we can have some help for you.
Sure.
That sounds great.
Um,
What else apart from that view spec was failing for you?
a lot. Something about the jobs, and I don't know. Maybe if I run it again, it might work better. But let me first focus on one at a time.
Yeah.
So you said something about build to
Yes.
create.
If you go to that users show spec on line 12, there it says build. That used to be create. I changed that to build as the work in progress. So we have to change that back to create. The object isn't actually there, so we can't add any other. We can't call so many the methods that comes after, like user status build, the throws an error on you. So
Okay.
yeah, so we need to change line 12 to build. To create. I'm sorry, to create.
Oh, there's a binding try somewhere.
Yes, we have to remove those as well. Just continue right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let me just also tell you on line 56, I created this describe block about user information tabs, and if you go to that file, I don't know. Are you sharing only your?
No, I'm sharing everything.
Okay, cool, absolutely.
Should not. Right. So what exactly is it doing here? Should not find. Expect not to.
What we want to do, we want to see that these tabs are not rendered if information I mean, if there is no bio, for instance, I shouldn't be rendering the about tab, and if there are no skills set by the user, I don't want to render that tab either. So that's why I have a negative check. This shouldn't be present, basically.
Right. Okay.
And also if the user aren't following any projects and doesn't have any activity like commits to GitHub, then those tabs shouldn't be rendered as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was on line 63. I have this allow user to receive bio and return false. So there is, because in the presenter for users we have this we have those methods that check whether there is a value in the database on his bio and if he has any skills or So I was hoping that if I allow user to receive this and return false, that that these tabs wouldn't be rendered. If you have, but you have to look at in the show HTML in the view itself. I think it's in details how I wrote that up.
In details, huh?
Yeah, it's a partial.
Yep. Cool. So if has skills, join project. Okay. So which part is failing? 70.
Video is passing, but the skills, projects, and contributed are failing.
this is not gonna work. No, this is. I can't remember how I implemented it. That's because user it won't directly call the user's Haskell. So let me check out how it was done. Skill list. Instead, you could do just skill list and then return empty array. What you're stubbing out is not the presenter itself. You're stubbing the user object. Let me just run 70. Okay, so that works.
Okay.
And I guess something similar happens in all the other allow contributed. Yeah, contributed. Contributions account. Counts. So this one I'll just sub the commit counts and return an empty array. That should also make it pass. We'll go to 88 now. Okay, so that's passing. Then there's one more. Shall I do this one, or does anybody want to volunteer to take over? Anybody? No one?
Ed?
No, you know what? Well, it would be nice if you guys have the time, if you could go kind of through the syntax of one of those tests, because I see words there that I never saw in in the course. So
Okay. What are you normally used to?
Everything. This allow a user to receive. What's that all about?
Right. So what you're doing here is you're stubbing out a method for an object, and in this case, that object is the user here. So allow will just is some kind of wrapper around the object.
Okay.
And then that's passed on to this matcher receive, which means that I'm allowing the user to receive a method call.
So you're stubbing the method join projects on user.
Yeah, that's right. And then in here, I'm telling it explicitly what to return.
Okay. I just translated that in my head to Jasmine. Okay. And then
yes.
Render does what? I mean, it renders, but I don't.
Render in this case is going to render the HTML page that we're testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole page.
Yes. That page. So it renders it internally.
So if there are other errors, then that could cause a problem?
Yeah.
Errors that are outside of the test itself.
Yes. I mean, if it's related to rendering the page, then yes, all these tests will fail if there is an error rendering it. So, yeah.
And rendered would then be the body?
Rendered, yes, will be the body of the rendered HTML in this case.
Okay.
And this is just a fancy debugger for Rails. Like the normal debugger comes with nice syntax highlighting and stuff, so don't worry about it. Binding.pry, that is.
What is binding.pry?
It's just a debugger for Rails.
Oh, okay.
But it's a bit more fancy because it comes with syntax highlighting and stuff.
Okay, and you're using, are you using, what IDE are you using?
Oh, I'm using Vim. It's a terminal
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Chapeau.
No, I just come from a background of fairly back-end stuff, so I learned these things.
Yeah, Brian is hardcore. I use RubyMine.
Me too. I use WebStorm and RubyMine.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
truth is that Brian also used to use
Used
RubyMine,
to,
but
yeah.
he thinks it's much cooler
Converted.
to use Vim, you know. So
Well,
No, I was a Vim convert.
Okay.
Actually, Brian's screen looks great. I was gonna ask the same question, and then I noticed the Vim at the bottom of the page, and I was surprised.
yeah.
Yeah, I just prettied it up. I didn't like the standard color scheme.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use RubyMine and I use the TextMate, you know. So I'm not as hardcore. So, but you like me anyway, Brian, don't you?
Yeah, we all love you.
Oh, good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so Hakan, do you feel you know that you want to take over and write the last failing spec? We can coach you through it, but you can drive. You know, that will give you an opportunity to pull down the code from Brian to practice that GitHub ponging technique.
As much as I would like to do that, if you would allow me, I'd like to wait a couple of weeks, and then afterwards, hopefully, I'll have more input for the projects.
All right. It's perfectly all right to do that. So let's.
Well, anybody else would like to take the lead?
I've just finished installing the project. If I can figure out which file we're working in, I can see what I can do.
All right. So have you run bundle install and all that?
I believe I just finished that. Looks like it just finished running. I think it should be working.
Okay. Could you share your screen, Ed, and we can see what's up. You know, see what you're doing.
Let's see. Show my screen. That should be this button right here. That should be it.
Yes, we're just about. All right.
Okay.
Our business. Yes. So
let's see. Probably should start a new tab. Okay. So where are we?
yes. So did you run bundle install? You said that was already.
Well, let's see. I just did the. Let's see. I'll scroll back and see. That's the install I did. I think I've got to do a.
Rake DB migrate, or he could do Rake DB setup that will set up his database and migrate, run the migrations and seed everything, right?
Like that?
Well, DB setup.
DB : setup. Bundle install.
Oh yeah.
And you pushed up to your repository, Brian, right?
I am doing that now.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
I forked the repository and hold down my own fork, so I got to somehow sync with him now.
Okay. Do you have another tab open, Ed?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Here.
So while you're running bundle install, you could just, if you just show me what remotes you have. So git remote -v.
Sorry.
Oh, you're not in the website.
Let me get into the yeah.
Pasting
Okay.
my remote link. I'll paste it in the chat.
Yes. So you would need to write for the following command. To add a repository as a remote repo, you would like to go git remote add, and then Brian, and hopefully you spell it right.
I very rarely do
I would
that.
say with a Y, actually.
It's with a Y, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter, but it's just a personal thing. Yes, and now you paste. If you go to the chat window, there is a URL. So you just copy and paste that with the space after Brian. Yes.
Okay, here goes.
Here we go. And if you do the git remote -v again, you'll see that you have Brian as a remote repo. Cool. So now you do git fetch Brian with a Y. Cool. Yes. And now, Brian, I have my way of you know, I could tell you my way to open a remote back, but I think you had a slightly better or more effective way to do that.
What?
You know, for him to check out your
Oh, yeah. You can go git checkout. Git checkout -t. And then Brian/user info.
Brian / what?
User info.
user info being the feature, the branch name.
Yeah.
And
the slash means it's a local remote.
Okay.
A local copy of the remote branch.
So let's see what happens.
That's it. You should be in a new branch called user info, which came from my remote branch.
Looks like I am.
Yeah. Cool.
So now you just have to do git checkout user info to check out that branch.
He's already in there.
Oh, he is. Okay, I'm sorry.
I just have to do the checkout. I'm already in user info, so I should just do the checkout and I'll have it, right?
No, you're already in there. So.
Oh, I'm already there. Okay. Oh, right, because I already did the checkout on the line above. Right. Okay. So now I've got to edit what? Let's see.
Yes, we were working with first a view called it's in app views users. Let's see here if you find app views
users
show.
Show.
Hold on a second. What's this? Oh yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. No problem. And also a partial called in profile. There in the subfolder profile there is a partial called detail. Under in the users directory. Views. No. Go back to the under users there's a subfolder called profile.
Got it. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
And we need the
detail partial.
Detail.
Yes, and then the spec itself, the tests itself are in. If you go down to the spec folder. That's not in app at all. It's
right. Got to go up a level.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Spec.
Yes, and views and users and show. So this is the the spec for that for that file. And which one was it that was still failing, Brian?
Good question. Line 78, I believe. Yeah, that's the last one that's still failing.
Okay, so that's allow user to receive project and return false. That's not going to be it. Allow user to receive. So I've got to go to user receive. And user is going to be. That's not user. Okay. User. So that is it.
Just on a separate note, there should be there seems to be a problem with the newsletter factory. Yeah. Yes, there's one quote too many, if I'm not mistaken. But we can have a look at that later, I guess.
Project. So user project. I'm not getting it.
Ryan, you want to talk him through this a little bit?
Okay, so the problem is in the detail partial.
To the detail. Okay, that's
Yeah.
in the wrong place.
Right, what test is that? What does the context say? Does not render when...
Projects.
So yeah, it does not render the projects tab if user has no following project count. So, okay. So the way it's done now is he is stubbing out the user object. What method was he stubbing again? Join projects, and he wants to return false. So if you go up around line 13 or 11, sorry. Wait, no, not 11. Is it 8? Yes, 8.
Ah, yes, join projects. That's it. Yeah.
So I think the issue here is we are using something called a presenter in this partial. So are you familiar with the presenter pattern? Slightly more advanced than basic Rails, but it's essentially another layer of abstraction for the object where the only responsibility for this object is to make the object's raw properties renderable, like something that's presentable to in a view. So sometimes you want to say you have like a user that has a first name and a last name, and what you want to do is just have like the person's name, the full name, or something like that. You can't put that logic in the model, but sometimes it's better to move it out. If like your model is getting too big, it's better to start splitting all these responsibilities. So the one that constructs the full name will be the presenter. That's just some way of formatting things. So all the presenter does is formats the information from the raw model. Am I making sense here?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so the issue is here we're calling a method called join projects on the presenter, and the test we're actually stubbing out the user itself rather than the presenter.
Ah,
So the problem is that the test is broken, not that the code is broken.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So what we have to do is replace the user with the presenter.
Yep, you could do that. Although the way I've been doing it so far has been to just make so in this case it says it does not render the projects tab if the user has no following projects count. So what I can do is just set following projects count to something like 0. So the presenter will actually look at the following projects count in this case and decide whether or not it has projects. So what you could do is just stub the user model to have no projects, and then the presenter will think there is no projects. Does that make sense?
No, you lost me on that one.
Okay. If you open up user presenter, where did we keep user presenter?
in presenters, in
Presenters,
app,
yeah.
in the app directory folder, there is a subfolder called presenters.
User presenters? No, that's
Yeah.
under.
Oh no, that's the specs.
That's spec. I gotta go to app.
Yeah. It's in
presenters and users. App presenters users.
app mod. Oh yeah, app presenters.
App presenters. Got it. Okay. Users.
Yeah.
And there it is.
That's right. And then if you look at join projects,
Here we go. Join projects.
yep. So it's actually counting the projects in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what you could do is just stub the following projects count and set that to 0. And then the presenter will think there is no projects that this user has joined.
So just make this that. Just set it equal to instead of greater than. That doesn't sound right.
No, you don't change that code, but you
don't
change the
change that.
test. Yeah.
Change the test. Okay. Back to the test.
So this test here, what you want to do is you want to make the presenter think that the user has no projects that it has joined, right? So join projects will be false in this case. So since it's just if you look at the method, it's testing that whether user join projects will be true if user dot following projects count is more than 0. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, you can have a look at the file again. Line 15.
Yes, line 15.
Yeah. So it's true if it's more than 0, not true if it's anything else.
Right.
So what you can do is just set following projects count to 0 in this case. Oh, no, not like that. Because we already have the stub allow user to receive something.
Right.
You could just change the method name. Instead of join projects question mark, you replace it with following projects count. It's up in the test description if it helps. Line 78.
That?
Nope.
Oh.
So you're just saying that this is the method name, so the method name will be following projects count. So you allow the user to receive a method called following projects count, And then what comes after that is and return. So that's where you're telling it, this is the value I want to return.
Oh, so I want to return 0.
Yes, that's right.
Gotcha.
There you go. So that should pass. Unless I'm wrong.
But now we still have to make sure we still have to we've got to. But this doesn't test the same thing the other one tested. So we have to create a. Do we still have to create a new test to accomplish what the old test accomplished, or?
No, the old test was wrong. It was written wrongly. So it was testing the right. It was supposed to test the right thing, but
Okay.
the test logic itself was wrong.
Okay.
So we're just fixing that. So we're still testing the same thing, but now in the right way.
Yes. And that's passing. So.
Is it?
Well, no.
Oh, you tried it on yours? Looks like Ed still has to.
Oh, he has problems with his Capybara WebKit.
Yep. So I'm installing that now, making sure that works.
Well, that ain't gonna fly probably. Or did it?
I don't know. That one's always the problem, isn't it?
Let me just help you out with this.
That didn't fly.
Yeah, I didn't.
Hold on a second. GitHub website. We have that documented in the wiki on GitHub. Now when we have those documents back.
Okay. Well, Hakan, Gail, do you have any questions about this so far? As you're watching it.
I just, I feel I have to review a lot to get back in Ruby and Rails, as well as the RSpec. I'm going to try to join another session maybe before Sunday. Would you suggest then cloning the website 1 project?
Yep.
Prior cloning the website 1 project, and then if we're going to do any pairing, then at least I'll have the project available and RubyMine look at stuff. Are they having pairing on all of the projects, or just?
I think website 1 is the most active pairing project, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas.
I think so too. Yes, and but for people in US time zones, the local support. I know that Michael and Marion are running local support pair programming sessions almost every night.
Night
to us, afternoon for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Question. I'm looking here at the README, and it's I'm looking at it real fast. Let's say I clone the project. What do I have to do to get it running? Because I don't like I said, the terminal command line instructions.
Okay. I think I've written a script in there that should set stuff up.
Hold on a second there, Brian. Ed, I just pasted this. You can install Qt by using Brew if you have Homebrew installed on your machine.
No, me? Are you asking me? I'm
asking Ed right now. Just telling him.
No, I have ports, not Homebrew.
Okay. Well, you wanna go to. Perhaps you want to go to install. You have to install Qt.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, Gail, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I'm on a Ubuntu computer. So, what would I do to install this?
First, you need Postgres, one of the most important ingredients.
Right.
Do you have Postgres set up?
No.
Okay, I think it's easy to install Postgres. It's like sudo apt-get Postgres or something. If you can search online. I think the most complicated part is setting up the user permissions. That's always a hassle. Thomas, do you remember if we have any documents?
We
Or
have all
was
that.
there-
We have all that documented in the file, in the link that I just posted in the group chat.
This is the website one documents development environment. Okay.
Yes. So if you follow these steps, it seems a little much, perhaps, but you should be able to.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know where to look for this stuff.
Cool. So try to do it, and there should be, yes, there's a link to the installation script that Brian talked about. So is that no? That's the one that Paul wrote. Actually. Where's the one that you published, or is that in?
It's part of the repository, actually.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't be. I don't know. I forgot. Yeah.
Well, it could be part of it. It doesn't really matter. Script. Here we have. Yes, set up a SH. Is that the one?
Yeah. You just need to run that script. It does most of the things for you except Postgres so far, which I haven't figured out how to automate. It's a bit fiddly.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that I'm gonna remove Paul's script and add yours.
Right. Anyway, Gail, the script should work well for you. What version of Ubuntu are you running on?
Oh, something relatively up to date. I don't know.
Okay.
Is 14 the version that's going on?
Yeah, 14 is the latest one so far. I think there's a new one out due this month. Anyway, I wrote that script on Ubuntu 14.04, so you shouldn't have problems in theory.
Okay. Well, I'll try to get as far as I can get with this. It's I'd like to actually really do a pair programming, but I'm sort of if you were doing it in the technology stack I'm fresh in, then I could do that, but I need to get up to speed here a little faster.
You're taking steps forward just by being here, Gail. So this is. It's a learning experience for us all, even if me and Brian have been doing this for a long time now. So we still, just feel that at least you're here. There are so many other students of the AV102 course that haven't had the opportunity yet. So. Yeah,
well, it's a little intimidating. I remember when I took the course, I didn't pair program. It just seemed like more trouble than it was worth, in the sense that I thought the setup and all of that. I noticed people were spending like an hour and a half on nothing, basically. So I ended up just doing videos of my own programming. As here, like, I'm going to try to see if I can get up to speed a little bit, and maybe try to do this again. If not,
I understand, but this is a slow process. Setting up stuff but it's I think it's a very valuable experience to have done. So.
What is Qt, or is that something for Mac people?
What was it? It's a library. It's just a dependency for one of the web drivers we use, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's a graphic. It's a GUI programming library.
Yes, it's a portable UI programming.
Yeah.
Portable GUI programming environment.
Yep.
So is this particular project relatively complicated compared to the other projects?
I think it's a little bit more mature. Local support is, I think, even older than Website 1, in fact.
Yeah. I would say that the greatest need for new developers is in the Ostra project. It's a relatively new project of ours. But they use a backend kind of gem called ActiveAdmin, and so there's a lot of, it's a slightly different way to develop there, and also slightly they test in a different way, because when ActiveAdmin generates code, they don't test that code, Brian.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So only methods that they are actively, adding to whatever ActiveAdmin has generated. That's the only methods they have to test. So it's good. But yes, that's a fairly new project, and they have a very small developer team. I think there are only 3 people, and Pavel being the Scrum Master there. So that's where most of the stories are. They have good tempo, good momentum. I think they had a velocity of 23 or something last spring.
But in terms of the content, this project, the 2 projects that interested me were this one and the Autograders.
Auto Graders is not really Rails, if I'm not mistaken. It's very
pure
Ruby thing.
All right, well, maybe I'll try to continue with this, because at least I felt I could follow you guys. So that's.
I mean, website 1 is pretty straightforward. We try to divide everything into small stories, nothing too big, too complicated, and we feel that this is the way to to move forward in a relatively fast pace. And also, it's fairly mature now, so we have most of the stuff in place, and there are some cosmetics to be done, so that's fairly easy for people to come in on, and get to know the code base. But then again, there's a lot of stuff under the hood that needs to be refactored, and a lot of tests that need to be rewritten. We made some. I mean, there has been a lot of developers in this project, so there are some scar tissue here and there, with all the different coding styles and different people having different ideas about stuff. So there's a lot of things that could be improved still.
Okay. And you guys meet once a day, or twice?
Well, we participate in the other Agile Venture Scrums. We have one meeting a week that is dedicated only to talking about our stories, and just talking only about Website 1. But we have those Agile Ventures has those other scrums that are daily, and I try to participate in as many as I can, and other members are there as well.
Yeah, I usually appear on the Scrum around this time, the America Scrum, if I'm not mistaken. That was about an hour and a half ago. So I'm usually available only from this time onwards, because
I tried to participate in that one and didn't show up as starting.
Oh, that's strange. That's actually a good point. I forgot. I didn't notice any broadcast, Thomas, for the last Scrum.
No broadcast for the last Scrum. Yeah. I mean, you mean Slack notification or YouTube broadcast?
Yeah. Notification.
Yes, but we have there seems to be a problem with that Hangout Connection app. It depends a little bit on what sort of browser you are using. It has to do with certificates.
Okay.
And it doesn't always work. So we had a meeting last week, and there is this idea that Yarrow can continue to work on that part of this application. He asked for that specifically, and me or the Website 1 team being the client of Yarrow's project then.
Okay.
But he will be accepting feature requests from us, so this will not only be a one. They don't dictate what functionality they want to give us, but Rather, we're gonna do it the real agile way. So that we ask for feature requests. Now we present them with feature requests, and they deliver to us. Then, of course, if he wants to do some experimental stuff, he can do that and deploy that and use it wherever he wants to use it. But the instance of the application that website 1 is supposed to rely on needs to be, tested and developed in collaboration with us.
Yeah, okay. That's better. I think. I prefer we move towards this more service-oriented architecture rather than having everything in one app.
Absolutely.
So I like the direction this is taking. Cool.
So how's Ed doing on this install thing?
I'm installing Qt.
Okay. While you do that, could you go to GitHub and just paste the URL to your fork of website 1 into the chat window?
Okay.
Oh, have you pushed everything up?
I haven't pushed yet.
Yeah, but
I will push.
let's start with pasting that URL first.
Okay.
Yep, I'm pasting that URL in. What happened to the? Well, that's not what I meant to do. Here we go.
Right. I think I have to be off pretty soon. Is there any last questions before I go off?
No, if you and I could hook up perhaps tomorrow night or something.
Tomorrow night? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can have a meeting, just talk things through, and you and I should meet with Sam if we can. We have this. I involved Renee into doing this events epic together with me, but you and I have to be on the same page, and also we need to discuss with Sam.
Sure. Is Sam available tomorrow, like evening? I remember he has more free time in the evenings.
Yes.
On Fridays.
Yes.
Because he works late.
But not this Friday, probably. But I'll talk to him and try to.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Good time. Cool. All right. Well, I'm off then. Good luck, guys.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you around.
Cheers. Okay, Brian. Ed, I mean, no, Brian's leaving. Ed is staying. Okay. So, Ed, what I'm gonna do now, if you have a look on my screen.
Okay, just a moment. Here I come. Okay, I'm there.
Okay, so I'm just gonna add you as a remote to my. I just ran some tests. Hold on a second. Just let him think. Come on, baby. Okay. So if I do git remote -v, okay, you see I have a lot of these remote repositories. So I'm just gonna go git remote add ed, and now I have you added as well, right? So
okay.
If you, now if you share your screen again, perhaps.
Sure. Wait a second. Here we go.
Yes, I would open a new. Well, you have a free window someplace. Yes, git check. Well, I wouldn't do check-in. I would say commit.
You're right. Commit. That was it.
And I would say -am. Yes. AM. And then a space after the N. If there's a test. Yes. Okay. And then you just hit enter.
And then I do a push.
And you do git push origin user info.
Origin user info.
Yes, origin is your own. It's always your own repository, remote repository where you clone this from, and you clone this from yourself, right?
Yes, I clone this for myself. Yes.
Yes. Then you go git push origin, and then you have to specify the branch name.
That's spelled right?
Yes, that's spelled right, and then space user info. Yes, that's right. So let's push it out. Cool. You see it created a new remote branch for you on your GitHub. Okay, so now you shift focus to me for a sec, and now I'm just gonna go git pull add user info, right? Because I'm pulling from you into my own repo, and I'm probably gonna get an error now because I think I have some stuff in my own repository. No, actually, yes. You see, he said your local changes in the following files would be overwritten. Because while you guys were speaking, I was doing some experimental, stuff. But I don't need those things, so I'm just gonna go do a git stash. So all my changes will be lost, all stashed away. And now I'm gonna do the pull again. I'm pulling from you. And if those changes that I've made were important to me, I could pull that back from the stash. I could unstash those changes. But I know that they were not, important, so I don't need those. You know what I mean? Are you following my logic here? Okay. So now I'm gonna I'm just gonna do. We were talking about the view spec in users and show, right? So I'm going to run the whole thing, and hopefully, if that change you made to the view spec fixed the test, everything will be passing for me now. I reckon, since you were doing the install and everything, I could pull down this code and run the test myself.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Hubba hubba. Let's see if it's going to work. You never know. I've been working with a lot of different programs today, so my Mac is a little tired, I think. And there is this debugger statement, and so allow user to receive following projects count and return 0. So if I just continue now, oh sorry, and it passed. So the only thing I need to do, yes, I need to remove that biting try, command. But it shows some error here. Why do it? Oh, of course it shows error because we have two. Oh, what's load system? Okay, yes, never mind. So now it's gone, and if I run I run the same command again, it should pass. Okay, while this is running, Gail, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Where can I find the URL to this broadcast?
I will just give you that in a second. Let me just pull it out for you. Here we are. YouTube page. So this is the broadcast.
Okay, can you paste that into, or did you just do that?
Yes, I just did that.
Okay.
Yes. So that's it, and let's see here if everything is passing now. Wonderfully. Okay, so let me just fire up the Rails server, and we can have a look at what we actually did here. Could be interesting for you guys. I wrote the code before this Hangout, but what we did now is just make this pass, right? So I'm just going to fire up the Rails server, unless I have it someplace now. Cool. And again, the iMac is tired. So yes. Okay, so the server is up, and if we go to someplace. For example, yeah. Well, let's open a new tab. Host 3000. You're following all of this, Hakan? I guess he is. Anyway, so this is the local host. I'm going to log in, and I have set up so I can log in with my GitHub credentials on my local host, and you guys can do that as well if you like, because we have an application for that set up. So if I go to my account, I don't see anything, you see here, but this is wrong because this shouldn't be rendered either. You see here this line up there? So we need to think about that. But if I edit and I go Thomas skills, Rails, Ruby, Scrum, like this, and BO, yeah, whatever, something like this, and I update this. Well, you see we have a problem here. We have an you see here that on the first, when the page is loaded, it displays both the skills and about me, but then if I click on this, it only displays, it actually displays the right information, but here there's some sort of problems as well. Know what I'm talking about here?
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, and also let's go to projects. Let's go to whatever project we want to see, and I join this project, and we go back to my account. See here, we are displaying too much info again. Yes. So this condition works on the tabs, but there seems to be something broken in the detail partial that actually when we are... Okay, first of all, we see this, which is rather strange. We see an undefined anchor tag in the URL field.
It looks like a text form.
Huh?
Looks like a text form. Where that would be coming from, I don't know.
I don't know. We have to have a look at that. But also see, if you see at the URL now, up in the URL field, you see that there's a hash undefined anchor tag.
Oh yes, that can't be good.
That can't be good either. So that's a problem. And what else was it? There was something about commit count. Well, but we can't test it because commit count actually has to hit the GitHub API. So that's a bit of a problem. Let's have a look at the detail HTML. So what we have here, let's see. We have conditions. If presenter BO don't, line 2 to 13. These are the lines that tells us if these are the lines that sets the conditions for the tabs itself. These things. Then the content of those tabs is below here, line 16 through 60. So ID activity active. This is wrong. Okay, now I just figured out one of the problems. This is wrong. This active must go. Yes. So if we go back here now, Okay, so this is better. At
Okay.
least that
So
works.
why did that make a difference?
Well, it's a Bootstrap CSS class that
Okay,
if it's set to active, that is the pane that is actually showing. And so the problem is that if you have two panels that are active, you know, this one and
right.
this
So
one.
you got two different actives, so they were showing both of them. So you're getting.
Yes.
Got it.
So like this, right? So we just remove one of them, and because we only want the first one with the BO being active.
Yep.
Okay. So that's cool, but we have. I'm not quite sure why I have this. See, there is a ref to a skill to an ID. You see, if
Yep.
for instance the href is skills to an ID skills. I think this could potentially have to do something with the users JS here. Tabs show function. Scroll. No, that doesn't have to. I don't think so, at least. I added this JavaScript snippet here, and this one. Usually, the usual behavior of these tabs are that when you click on them, you scroll up like to the top of the window, basically. And we don't want that behavior, so we are overriding some of the Bootstrap functionality with this little snippet here. But it does not have to do anything with with that undefined.
Also, that should be run on all the tabs, not just the one that's giving us the problem. So that's unlikely to be the issue.
Exactly, because you see down at the very bottom here, it says that the anchor is actually projects and skills and about. So I'm curious, but I'm curious why it says undefined up in the URL window. But what if I do skills like this? What happens? Oh, you see, now he scrolls up like this. You see this?
Yeah.
So that's weird.
And you still have the box there. You still have the form.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's another problem. So project. If I go projects. Oh, yeah. Projects. But I don't understand this now. Look, there's a different behavior on project than skills. That worries me a little. Huh, now it's... Okay, never mind. Okay, let's have a look at that form field. Skills each to next each skill. Is that on skills? Yes, on skills. Huh. So there's something. UL, V. There's nothing here. So let's do. Okay, let's just do like this for a second. Let's display this and inspect. Remove this and remove this.
I don't think that's your problem.
I know. I just want to see what's going to happen. I want to know where this form is coming from. If there's anything like this. Expecting end of input. To enter user's profile. Okay, so no. Okay.
I don't think the problem's inside the loop because it's only happening once.
Yes. So could this user skills class include something? Public. Inline block. Margin button. No, there's nothing here. Of course. Shall we see at the presenter? Tab pane section class users. Div.
Could there be something going in after the div? What happens after this?
Well, we're just saying end. We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what the final HTML is that's rendered?
That's what I was
there?
about to say. Let's look at the page source.
Yeah. Good call. It's a tags input, but why would there be... You see, this doesn't make any sense, because he's closing... Wait. He's closing the section, you see here?
Closing the section, so it's after the section gets closed.
Yes, and there's nothing here. I mean, there's nothing here.
Right.
And tag suggestions drop-down list, why would that be rendered here? Huh. Huh.
Some sort of inheritance problem?
Could be.
Maybe, just guessing.
Yes. Because this form is actually rendered on the user's edit, you know, let's see here, profile, what is this, index, no. Oh, well, no, I don't understand. Okay, let's see. If I go to edit and go to this skills and go to, yes, that's the exact same thing. That's the exact same thing that is rendered, you know, on the other page.
Yep, so somehow it's pulling it from the wrong place.
So is that the tags? Tag label tags? So could that be it? Detail. Tags. Section class. Well, what if I just change the name of this class to something? Because this is probably where the problem is.
That sounds right.
We just try that. So, like, you know, whatever, but that. Yes.
Yep.
Well, no.
No,
Nope.
No. Okay, but if I change this to skills 2 and then to skills 2, but that shouldn't do that either. Oh, okay.
That was it.
Yeah, so what we have probably is, let's see, that means that we have a problem in users.js, and we just search for skills. Yes, okay. So if we have a skills tags, blah, 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 then you see here on line 26 onward?
Yep, I see it.
Yes.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Add tags. That shouldn't be showing up.
Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do is just, it's a naming issue. We don't need that particular name. We're just gonna go user skills.
Yep.
On this one, and let's see, remove this, and we go user skills, and we go to the spec, of course, sorry, that's that spec. This is the spec, and then we go user skills. Yes. So let's just rerun this thing. And skills, Scrum, Ruby, Rails, cool. But I think I would like that to be just to have a look here. Yes. Where's that users.js tags input? Yes, down key press. This status. Well, I need to see what you see. Here they are only displayed as text, but I would like to have them displayed as this actually. So if we just see tag label, add button, agile, spam, scrum. Okay, so if I just try this, and I go leave. Was that a if? Well, let's try this. So we don't want all of this. Yes, this is what we want. It looks better. And let's see. What if we remove?
You can, if you do the inspect element, you can see on the right which classes are contributing what styling.
Yes, of course. So add button agent is the color. Yes, the label. Okay, we want that. And the tag. Where is the tag? I can't find the tag. So what if I remove the tag? Nothing happens. And if I go LG is the big one, right? No? Is it MD medium?
Sasha.
Never mind. Let's keep it like this. Well, what if I remove that? Oh, MD doesn't do anything either. So it's just so we need label and we need this button here. So now it went off with quiet. Okay, everybody's with me still. Cool.
It's here because it's calling it a button. So you may want to create the class as being an extension. Create a class with a more reasonable name as an extension of that old class.
I know. But that's, I leave that up to you to refactor later. I wouldn't be bothered with that. That's why we keep those things, you know. So there are other issues here, but you know, yes. And also there was another thing here. Let me show you something. See, I'm a privileged user on website 1. Here, on my account, you can see I have this new newsletter button, you see? Because I can send newsletters. And that's cool. But if I'm logged out, if I'm not logged in, of course I shouldn't see that button, right? But the problem is that if we go to members and we visit my profile as a non-logged in visitor, you still see that button. And if you click that button, you get a 403, I think. No, a 500. Yes. So that's a little bit of a problem. So while we're doing this, we're working with user profile, we might as well just fix that problem. I know I just said no to another refactoring thing, but this is business critical, So if presenter can create new newsletter, right? But we also have to check if user is current user, right? Because there should be two conditions here. So basically we can just copy this and we could say if presenter object equals current user and presenter can contribute to newsletters, then we should show this new newsletter button, right? Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Cool. Another thing that makes sense to me is we don't use double quotes. We use single quotes in code, unless we want to, inject some variables into that, because then we need double quotes. So this should take care of that problem, and we should also. I could leave that up to you, Ed, or Hakan, or somebody else to actually test for this, because since, in test-driven development, right, we exposed a bug, because this is a bug, right? And now when we fix this, we should also have a test for this. Actually, we should have written the test first. I was a little too, I should hold my horses there a little bit, but I just fixed this. But this needs to be tested. And that could be, I don't know, a homework assignment. Perhaps Galif or Hakan, if you would like to take this challenge, and, code this all by, on your own, you could do a recording of that and submit that as a if you could you could submit that as a homework assignment for you. Is that something you would like to do?
As a homework assignment to
for the pair programming, or you could either submit this video, or you doing something, this writing a test for this method.
I could try to write a test for that method.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. And they said, all right, I'll try to do that. I'll probably submit this video anyway, but I'll try to write the test. First, if I have trouble setting up the project, I'll let you guys know. Wait, are you saying I should do this as a pair programming exercise, or just to write the test?
You don't have to do it as a pair programming. You can just as you did in the course that you do some coding on your own, if you like, and you record that and you submit that if you like.
Okay, I'll try to do that. If I have trouble setting up the project, I'll get in touch with you.
Sure. Let me just.
Do you have a user story for this?
No, I don't have a user story for that, but I will write that up.
Do that, and then I can, because I also have to, for the homework, I also have to have a user story.
Yes, but let me reach out to you on Slack with that.
Okay.
I need to just, commit this. I am refactor specs. Code in users show page and method in user center.
Out of curiosity, why was the change necessary? In the sense that if you were asking the presenter if it could produce a newsletter.
Well, no. If the user that was presented could create a newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, it's not only that's not enough, because if this is the only condition, then we have this undesirable behavior, because you see, I'm not logged in. This is not me anymore.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this new newsletter button.
The presenter is holding Thomas information.
Yes.
And you don't. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, by adding this condition, is presenter of this object equal to current user, and current user being me, right?
Okay.
So then this should be shown, but not otherwise.
Okay, I understand. Okay.
Cool. All right, guys. I have a thing that I need to attend now. So thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for participating.
Okay.
I'll reach out to you guys on Slack with this pivotal tracker story, bug report. I will write it up in a half an hour or something like that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Prosper.
Very
Talk to you.
interested.
Bye bye. Ciao.
Bye.